This is going to be a different kind of video. I want to tell you guys a little more about me and some of my past and recent past. And the topic of today is kind of going to be about money, about God, and where do we go from here? And I'm going to testify. So before I gave my life to God, which was about 3 years ago on Halloween Day, which is fascinating, I was very vain in my living style. I was a single man. My parents helped me in the home buying process to acquire my first house. Later, come to find out, they saw me as an opportunity, and they were kind of hoping that I wasn't going to wake up and start seeing through the veil of their selfishness. And a lot of my channel is about the toxicity, the covert narcissistic behavior of people that try to get close to us as believers. So I gave my life to God because I was sick of the striving. I was penny pinching. I owned a truck that I had to pay over $1,000 a month for. And I had a pretty good job, one of the leading paying jobs for my industry in the roofing business. And I also had a pressure washing business of my own that I did on the side. But I was working like a slave just to afford the things that I had, and I was getting burnt out. I don't know how God kept me moving, but he slowly brought me to my knees because it was too tough. Just the ways of the world. And I mean, it's gotten worse since then for anyone. It's just crazy the way the world is now. But I became somebody, on Snapchat and Instagram. I had an old YouTube channel, and I was on fire for God. Just really just expressing my gratitude for being born again, And it's like everyone around me at the time, they were shocked because they have never seen that or experienced that for what it truly is. I was saved, and I was very happy and joyful and excited for, Lord, okay, whatever you want me to do, your will, may it be done. And I started a YouTube channel. This was before God opened my eyes to how close the enemy is and how close the enemy can be, within friends and family and other relationships. So I was trying to pour the good news into everybody. I was suddenly someone who was very, maybe even annoying, probably annoying to them at my new excitement. It was almost like I had went from being depressed to being alive and excited and wanting for people to experience that for themselves. And slowly over time, they were just thinking who do you think you are? How dare you? They're good for you. All types of different reactions, but it's in those interactions, they were draining me of my energy, and I wasn't successfully getting them to see God, to accept Jesus in the way that we're supposed to. Even if they said it out of their mouths, I realized that no, it's the heart. It says in the word that you must accept Jesus as your Savior with all your heart. And so they were kind of saying what they needed to say to get me to shut up. And of course I discerned that, and it was kind of down-putting, and I was just like, okay, Lord, like, whatever, I've been trying, I'll be patient. But the truth is that the more patient I was, the happier they got, and the less happy and on fire I got with the Lord. And then he started taking me down these rabbit holes, this knowledge that I had prayed for and understanding about topics like narcissism and just, you know, the spirituality behind how the average person perceives someone that has been born again. And it's funny, I was just thinking about this. Shortly after being reborn, when I still had my social media, I think it was on my old YouTube channel, which friends and family had been given access to. That was a learning lesson. Later on, I had to start a new channel, but I was like, you guys, the Lord told me I'm gonna make $100,000 this year. And I was like laughing, all excited and stuff. And that must have pissed some people off that knew me. I can see how that would, if you weren't like excitedly living for the Lord yourself. A year later, I'm thinking like, Lord, I swear you told me this. And I realized that I was like debt free. I had gotten out of $100,000 in debt. Somehow, God was moving things around, allowing for my parents to like manipulate me and like steal real estate, lands and houses and vehicles. But all of this shifting was to free me from their attachment, which they had coerced me into, abusing my light after that rebirth. It's like they saw me as an opportunity when I gave my life to God. They're like, okay, now we can get more out of him because we can remind him who he serves, and he'll feel obligated to wait around, be patient, give, be a servant to us, so we can put on the act that we know God too. And whenever we have to, we'll play our part in acting interested in the narrow path, but we're really not. We have established a way of our own, but to keep him in our plan and not God's, we're going to have to play the role. So I was experiencing all of this. Dang, I got to go into work. Anyways, I wanted to touch on like the state of the world today and what to do in an economy like this, because I work a pretty crappy job, but I'm blessed and grateful for it because it allows for me to make YouTube videos and think greater and bigger and not be so exhausted. What to do with an abundance of money, because it doesn't seem like the time to buy. It seems like the time to invest, but not necessarily for real estate, which is what I want to get into again. But it's like you kind of got to see an opportunity if you're going to go the real estate route right now. You got to see something that other people aren't seeing in a given property. And I'm talking like the land included, and cutting down trees and building on to a certain place, like a vision for something that they are not seeing. And I hope to, as this channel continues and progresses, you know that I have woken up to the narcissism around me, and it's like now God is allowing for us to be independent. And so you guys are going to see, as I continue doing things in the way that I have, the journey and the helpful tips that the Lord will give me in establishing ourselves practically while we're here on this earth, because it seems like the necessary adult information that should have been taught to me was purposefully neglected in a competitive way. So that's all I have for now. I gotta go in there to work. Have a blessed weekend. If you want some fellowship, we're gonna do a Zoom meeting this Sunday. So click the link at the bottom of this video and come and check it out. I'll see you then. Stay tuned and God bless.